Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. So in today's video we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So in Death Stranding, as far as gameplay wise goes, you are pretty much a post-apocalyptic delivery man. But the story goes a bit deeper than that, and as we all know, this is a Kojima game, and the story is kind of hard to grasp, especially at the start. I do think they do a pretty good job at explaining a lot of things, especially near the end of the game. But in this video, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be explaining, or at least trying to explain, what I think happens in Death Stranding. This video is obviously going to have a lot of spoilers. We're pretty much just going to go over the basics of the story all the way from the start of the game until pretty much the very last cutscene. Not necessarily in order, I'm just going to try and explain it the best I can. Now there are obviously a lot of little details that I simply didn't understand, but I'm going to try and explain what I did understand, or what at least I think I understood, and this is what I think happens in Death Stranding. In the world of Death Stranding, there has been multiple mass extinctions of different species, kind of like the dinosaurs, kind of very similar to what happens in the real world. However, 5 of these extinctions have been due to a Death Stranding. These have been called the Big 5. And what we're witnessing in the game is actually the 6th event, or the 6th Death Stranding. Now, each Death Stranding happens because of the existence of an extinction entity, or an EE as they like to call them in the game. Now, the 6th Death Stranding is going to be happening because of the existence of the EE Amelie. Now, at the start of the game, we believe that Amelie is actually Sam's elder sister, but turns out to actually be the same person as the person that we believe at the start of the game is Sam's mother. Now, these are actually one of the same. So in the world of the game, each person has a ha and a ka. Now this is kind of like a soul and a body. Well, it turns out that Sam's believed to be mother actually had cancer when she was 20, and her soul actually went to the beach. Now, beaches in this game are basically the afterlife, but not where you would normally stay forever. However, it's more of like a path to the afterlife. However, as we'll mention soon, there are certain people that have unfinished business in the living world and simply can't leave their beach, and they just hold on until they kind of get or succeed in doing what they was kind of grudging in life. But basically what I'm trying to say is that Amelie doesn't basically exist. As soon as your supposed to be mother dies at the start of the game, which is really only what's left of Amelie, which is her body form, since her soul form is been on the beach since she was 20 and never able to return, hence why you only see her in holograms. However, Sam does think that she may be real because they kind of connect in dreams, but we'll be explaining that a bit later on. So as an EE, or an extinction entity, your only job is to basically bring upon the end of the world. And I can understand why you would want that. Just imagine being trapped on this beach for all eternity until you do this one job. Well, the only way that Amelie can bring the end of the world, as you can see, it's already started. I believe like the whole Death Stranding kind of starts to happen as soon as the EE comes into existence, but they can't quite finish it off until they actually want to. Obviously, Amelie does want to finish it off. Why wouldn't you? You're not going to be stuck there for millions of years. But to do so, she actually has to have Sam with her on that beach. And until Sam is not on that beach with her, she is not able to completely finish off the world. Now, this is obviously why Amelie, in her body form at the start of the game, tries to get you to go to the east side, which is where Amelie can kind of bring you into her own beach. And along the way, she asks you to join up the chiral network. Now, I don't think the chiral network's that important in all this plan, but apparently it does kind of help the Death Stranding go a bit quicker, because not only do you connect the real world, but since you're kind of using chiralium, which is kind of what makes up the underworld, to connect the network, this actually joins up a lot of people's beaches and makes it kind of easier for the underworld to come through to the real world, which is pretty much what all the BTs are. They're just beach things, which are basically people that have died and are trapped on their beaches. So I believe that's why they want you to connect the chiral network. I'm not really sure how important this is to actually be able to just simply end the world. I'm not sure if that's necessary or not. Maybe I missed something there. But her main plan was to get you, Sam, to her beach on your own so she can just end it all. Now, to do this, she actually asked for a bit of help. Normally people can't just go onto anybody's beaches, except for a few people. We've got Fragile that can pretty much go to her beach and back whenever she wants and actually take people with her. Then we've got Hartman that can pretty much go to anybody's beach, but for the most part you can't just access a beach just like that. So Amelie's beach is special. Nobody at all, not even Hartman or Fragile, can access her beach. The only people that can access her beach is the people with a specific doe. So she gives 3 does out. She gives one to Die-Hardman, which is also known as John. This is because he has always pretty much been the president's right-hand man when she was alive in body form. The second doe goes to Higgs, which is kind of the story that I'm a bit blurry with, but he basically worked with Fragile, but mainly because of Fragile's power to take people from beach and pretty much fast teleport anybody around. But then Amelie kind of found him, and then obviously Amelie's power is a lot bigger than Fragile, so I think he kind of more like got tricked into working for Amelie, and he kind of got power hungry, and I think it kind of got to a point where he thought he was in control, but obviously this was just all part of Amelie's plan altogether, and that's why he is after you. And the third doe went to Cliff. Now Cliff is definitely the one with the most interesting story. So Cliff is actually Sam's real father. You discover this at the end of the game. And the BB in all the flashbacks when you're like, you know, going up the elevator or whatever, leaving a base, this is actually you. You are Cliff's son. And really that means that Amelie is not actually your mother. Your real mother is Lisa, which we can also see in the flashbacks, which is kind of no longer alive. And Cliff actually tries to escape the hospital with you before they kind of turn you into this first experimental BB, which Amelie is actually behind as well. Amelie needs you, remember. However, trying to stop Cliff from escaping with the BB, or you, Sam, they accidentally kill both of them. Well, they kill Cliff and they accidentally kill the BB, which is you. So you basically die before really even being properly born. Obviously, Amelie needs you to bring the end of the world. So what she does is she actually revives you when you go to her beach. Now, this is kind of what makes you an immortal in this game. This is why you can't die, because Amelie basically made you an immortal before you was kind of even really growing up. But anyway, what we was talking about, the third doe went to Cliff. So like we said before, if you go and die and go to a beach, but you're not really happy, or you're still clinging on to something in life, you're going to stay on that beach until you basically, probably even forever. I'm not actually sure what happens there. But yeah, Cliff is one of those people. He really wanted to save BB, which was actually you. So this is why Amelie now uses him with the doe in the beaches, because she knows that Cliff will do anything to get BB back. So this is actually why Cliff comes after you multiple times, because he actually thinks that his BB, or you, is Lou, which is the BB that we're carrying. He never realizes that Sam is his son and you are the BB that he is looking for. But it works nonetheless for Amelie, because obviously Lou looks exactly the same as Sam did. So Cliff is going to come after you just because of the confusion. And apart from some small details, it actually works out quite fine. You end up with Amelie all alone on her beach. And at this point, this is where the game makes you choose. Now, if you just drop the controller and let stuff happen, the world will come to an end. You'll obviously get game over and be able to continue. But this is kind of like what the EE was designed to do in the first place. And yeah, that is technically what you could call the bad end of the game. Just let Amelie get away with what she wanted. The other choice you can do is go up and hug Amelie, and this will kind of show your affection. You actually do love her, because you actually think that she's your sister and that her body part was your mother, because you died as a baby. You never knew Cliff or Lisa as your parents, and obviously you grew up with them, or her, because there's only one person, and you obviously pretty much spent your whole life thinking that she was your sister and also your mother. So, you know, you love her, and this kind of works. This kind of talks Emily out of ending the world, or at least yet. But this also sadly means that Emily is going to have to stay on her beach alone pretty much until the rest of eternity. But anyway, Sam gets returned to his beach where he is kind of trapped for a while. However, the gang does find a way to get Sam back. Now they need an item that has a really powerful connection with Sam to get to his beach and bring him back. Now the item they actually end up using is the revolver that Die-Hardman has still got, which is John, which actually killed Cliff, your father, and yourself when you was just a BB. And this is obviously got a really strong relationship with you. It's literally the weapon that killed you as a child. And this is actually what allows you to come back to the real world. However, on the way back to the real world, you discover that Lou is pretty much out of it. He's dead. And you're going to have to walk up one final time to the incinerator and get rid of Lou. However, just before doing so, you open his pod just to see what happens. And I guess it's because you've got such a strong relationship with Lou, and at the same time you've got such a strong relationship with Emily. Lou actually goes to Emily's beach, and Emily actually uses her power to revive Lou. Now I'm not sure if that means that Lou is also an immortal or not. And that's pretty much how the game ends. Emily is now trapped on that beach until she finally decides to end it all. And I'm pretty sure that will happen eventually, because I don't think she wants to stay there for all eternity. And yeah, she is just stranded there, I guess. So that's what I got from Death Stranding. I think it's a really, really cool story. I'm sure there's a load of things that I didn't quite understand, but this is just kind of like the basics, or at least some of the basics that I think I understood. Let me know what you guys thought of the story, if there's anything I missed, anything I'm mistaken on. And yeah, I really look forward to it, guys. So hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, please go like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.